I now pass the floor to Christian Frödén, who we've already heard about through Saga, who spoke about him, and he is the operations developer in fighting human trafficking at National Operations Department in the Swedish Police Authority. Over to you, Christian. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And wow, thank you for that, Mr. Technician. That was fast. I was to tell you about my PowerPoint. Thank you for being here. And thank you all other speakers for your wonderful speeches. I have been a police officer for only 13 years. I used to be a public school teacher for 10 years before that. So when I started at the police authorities, I immediately started to work with young people and young people in despair. I have been a team leader at the Swedish border police, working with unaccompanied minors for 5-6 years. Mostly the Moroccan guys or from the Maghreb area and also from Afghanistan. I have then been a team leader for a surveillance team at the human trafficking section in Stockholm region. And I have worked with prostitution in all these groups about the young Roma people, among the boys from Morocco, among the boys from Afghanistan, women in prostitution, addressing through advertisements through internet, and it's the same. It is poverty, it's mental illness, it is due to their responsibility to be a provider for their relatives back home. I have some feedback in my microphone if there is a possibility to take it away. Thank you. Well, do you hear me properly? Yes. Good, thank you. I will start up with taking an example from a young Russian girl. She was 23 years old. We had made a security visit, as we call it, from the prostitution group in Stockholm. We met her 1 week before, and then she texted me on my working cell phone and said, "Could you send someone? There is a John here outside with a knife." I made a phone call to the commander-in-chief in that area, and minutes later there were four police cars with over 12 police officers outside her door. And she was astonished by that. And for us it is not rocket science, and I would describe a bit more how we work. And now I only see my ugly face in the monitor. So thank you. The Swedish Sex Purchase Act started in the women's movement, the women's lobby during the 70s. It has been a process. Those were the heroes, not the police officers trying to be nice and be human in any way. It was the women starting to fight for that. And it is a gender-based violence, and that is the main reason. Thank you, the women's lobby in Sweden. And as you have mentioned before me, to shift the focus from the person in prostitution to the buyer, to take away the blame, to take away the shame from the women. That is what it is all about. As you have said before, the law was implemented in 1999, and when the law came to act, only 3 out of 10 citizens favored the law, thought it was a good idea. It was not appreciated. And then 10 years later, a new investigation among the citizens, it was another number, as you can see there, 7 to 8 out of 10. And we will talk about, and we have talked about, the normative effect. It is so important. So we sharpened the verdicts for buying sexual services last year, so now we only have prison in the verdict, which gives us more rights to take a DNA sample of every sex buyer, which we gladly do, because if you buy sex, there is a great risk, as we see it, that you are a sex offender in other circumstances. So we can trace them and clear other cases about sexual harassment or rape. Okay, this is up to me to change. Wow. We have this national referral mechanism. that we are trying deeply and work hard with implementing. And I think that you perhaps see it better than I do because such a small text and I'm getting old. But this is very important for the whole society in Sweden, the authorities to work together with this referral mechanism. It is a really good NRM, but it's always a work to get it to work in every authority involved. I will tell you about our methods. We go side by side with a regional coordinator, which is a specially trained social worker, not riding along, but with a separate car with the police, the special units. And I would say that it's not special units only that are working against prostitution in Sweden. It is taken down to the floor level. We had a huge reorganization in 2015, and my police colleague here fully understands that it is difficult business for a police organization to reorganize. We learn slowly and we do not want changes. But one of the good things back then was that every single police officer should have a minimum knowledge about working against prostitution. How do we do that? We have had some really stars within the police authorities driving this work for a long time, traveling around the country to teach people in small local police offices how do we do this in companionship with the social services. Really, really important to say. The regional coordinators are employed by the Swedish Gender Equality Agency. So that is a huge importance for that cooperation, and we need to learn which is the possibilities for the regional coordinator and which is the possibilities for the police officer. Where is the line between our work? What do we do? And we're getting so great, sorry to say, not so humble, doing this. We were talking about this with the hidden prostitution, and I don't see that. I don't see that because it is not the internet ads. They are not on the darknet. They're open source pages. Everyone can reach them, unfortunately, and they are a meat market, as someone said. You see breasts and crotches and all different, you know all the details. It's really dirty, and it's like pick, oh, okay, this one is nice, this one is, no, okay, this one looks very, very young, and that is what the police officer will follow as well. We search on that advertisement sites and look for the youngest, the girls working 24/7 that takes the lowest prices, and we give them a call pretending to be a sex buyer. And then we call the social services, we go there, and my screen, I do some magic with the screen, it locks down.
Maybe Christian as well. You can walk this close, I think.
Is it a possibility? Oh, thank you.
He's waving
I
to
will
us.
buy you a coffee afterwards, technician, thank you.
He's-
If,
Maybe not.
maybe not. We secure the department. Police always, of course, go in first. And I will describe one situation. It died again. I continue. A Romanian girl standing there, breast naked, and I showed her my police badge and said, she tried to look sexy and all that. It's a police here, please get some dress up, please, and don't be scared, we'll just go in for a chat. And this is Malin from the social services, so I just put her foot in the door and gave her a minute. We checked the apartment, it was empty, and we sat down, and she immediately broke apart and started to cry. So you need to have that in focus, all that show you have so greatly told us about Maria and Saga. It is a show, and we see it from time to time to time. It's not a work, it is a despair. And she started to tell us about her sick mother back home in Romania. She had to pay for her surgeries and all that. So the prostitution is not hidden. We see it, and we address it, and we seek them up, and we have this security conversation. What is the security conversation? Well, first of all, we ask, do you know the security, the emergency phone number in Sweden to police and fire department? No. Russian girls or third countries, or many of them do not know. Can I phone that? Is the next question from them. They ask us, are they entitled to call the emergency number? And let me go back to the Russian girl at the beginning. She called me. She did not dare fully to call 112, but she texted me. And we are teaching them, call 112. We will not work every day. You will not reach me every day. So it's a lesson. Every security conversation like this is a lesson to train them, to get access to the receptions for medical exams, for counseling, for condoms, for whatever. We have to train them to, this is how it works in Sweden. You can reach us. Every security conversation is about that. And then we're talking about the coping strategies. How do you cope with this? Do you use drugs? Are you hurting your, is this a way for harming yourself? Or, and sometimes the woman is so afraid of the police. Another Russian girl, she didn't say anything for 20 minutes, so I had to back off and stand in the doorway. And Malin from social services sat down for 20 minutes and talked to that girl. And she made the first contact. Me clearing the apartment first, clearing the premises, and she starting the conversation to build up the trust to even talk to me. So we have to trust each other to go back and forth and use each other's expertise in that.
Can I ask you to wind up?
I will wind up.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
It'll be short.
I just borrowed 1 minute from my colleague here.
Collaboration. The police.
And thank you for the colleague, I love you. Did you have any bad customers? Do you know what is in your ad on your internet? Do you know that you advertise for torture, that you offer torture, that people can pee on you? No. Okay, you're pimped. Then we know that. So she gets perhaps 50%. So that is a scan for her circumstances, her personal circumstances, a training as well, but it's also a way for us to reach the pimps and the traffickers. So it's a two-wing in here. It's very crucial in this one. I have to say this. It is from a case that was closed last year, and this is the last thing. I will read what a pimp, this is a word from a pimp. And he's writing to one of the girls he's running. So the pimp says, regarding the inspections from the police, of course it will happen while you work. They will come, 3 people. And this guy, he's from migrations. That is wrong, he's a police officer. And there will be a woman, I forgot her name, and an interpreter. They will ask, how are you? Is someone hurting you? Why are you doing this? You don't deny anything. You just explain that you work and you need money. It's going to take around 10 minutes and then they leave. He's dark. He's friends with the girls. It is so. And he continues, I understand from them that this police is very handsome and liked by all. You don't have to be afraid of them. They are absolutely normal people. They don't scream. They don't judge. Nothing like that. On the contrary, they offer something like social help, saying, let us help you. You can stop this. Just for you to know, when you meet this guy who is not always dressed in uniform, but more often as a civilian, we had tried to target him, but it's very hard. He's constantly buying new telephone cards, so it's like fighting windmills. We just can't win this fight. That's the way it is. And this is not my colleague that started this work 14 years ago. This is how all Swedish police work. And that describes quite well how the girls and the pimps experience our visits. I will quit there. Thank you.
Thank you, Christian, for your very informative speech. The part which really struck me, it's not work, it's despair. We could have continued listening to you for much more, as with all the speakers, but unfortunately, we're bound by time.